Nevada, San Pedro, late one night, the moon and the stars were shining bright. We was driving.
It's 1972, and while everyone remembers The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face by Roberta Flack,
Long time ago,
and American Pie by Don McLean, there's a whole universe of incredible music that somehow slipped through the cracks of history. But what about the electronic masterpiece that introduced America to synthesizer pop? What about the country rock anthem that celebrated illegal street racing? What about the folk ballad so heartbreaking that Elvis Presley himself had to cover it? Today, we're diving deep into the forgotten gems of 1972, songs that dominated radio for months, sold millions of copies worldwide, and then mysteriously vanished from our collective memory. You'll never hear these tracks the same way again. Number 15. Hot Rod Lincoln, Commander Cody and his Lost Planet Airmen. Let me tell you about the most unlikely country rock hit of 1972. Commander Cody and his Lost Planet Airmen's Hot Rod Lincoln peaked at number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became the 69th biggest hit of 1972. But here's what really happened behind the scenes. The band formed in 1967 in Ann Arbor, Michigan, with George Frayne IV taking the stage name Commander Cody. The band's name was inspired by 1950s film serials featuring the character Commando Cody. These guys weren't your typical hippie rockers. They were serious musicians who fused country music with boogie-woogie, rock and roll, rhythm and blues, western swing, and jazz. The irony is that Hot Rod Lincoln wasn't even their original composition. It was written as an answer song to Archie Shibley's 1950 hit Hot Rod Race. But Commander Cody's version captured something electric, literally describing illegal auto racing in California with lyrics about a Ford Model A with a Lincoln motor racing against a Cadillac. The song became a legendary Michigan song, and the band was inducted into the Michigan Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame. Despite their musical prowess, they remained essentially one-hit wonders, proving that sometimes talent and timing don't always align. Number 14. Popcorn, Hot Butter. Now here's where it gets interesting. Popcorn became an international hit in 1972, spending several weeks at number 1. Won in several countries including France, 4 weeks at the top, and Switzerland, 10 weeks. But the story behind this electronic masterpiece is absolutely wild. The song was originally composed by Gershon Kingsley in 1969 for the album Music to Moog By. Kingsley recalls that he wrote the primary melody to Popcorn in about 30 seconds. The original version was completely different. No popping sounds, slower tempo, and missing the catchy chorus we all remember. Stan Free, a former member of Kingsley's first Moog quartet, formed Hot Butter and recorded their version in 1972. At first, no one was interested in their version until a friend of the record company executive took the record to a disco in Paris and the song got recognition. The technical innovation was staggering. Hot Butter were fronted by keyboard player Stan Free, with John Abbott on guitar, brothers Bill and Steve Jerome on production, and electric piano, Danny Jordan on production, and Dave Mullaney on the on-dial line. This became the first primarily electronic-based piece of music to reach the American popular music charts, peaking at number 9 on the Billboard Pop Singles and number 4 on the Adult Contemporary chart. Honestly, Popcorn basically invented synthpop before anyone knew what synthpop was. Number 13. Good Time Charlie's Got the Blues, Danny O'Keefe. Speaking of forgotten masterpieces, let's talk about one of the most covered songs you've never heard of. Danny O'Keefe's Good Time Charlie's Got the Blues reached number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 5 on Billboard's Adult Contemporary chart in 1972. The song's journey is fascinating. O'Keefe first recorded it in 1967, but this version remained unreleased. The Bards recorded it in 1968 as the B-side to their single Tunesmith, which tanked. O'Keefe included the song on his 1971 self-titled debut album, then re-recorded it with a slower, more melancholic arrangement for his 1972 album O'Keefe. The 1972 version was recorded at American Studios in Memphis with Arif Mardin producing, the same producer who worked with Aretha Franklin and Dusty Springfield. The production was sophisticated, featuring a haunting arrangement that perfectly captured the song's theme of economic desperation and dashed dreams. But here's the thing, this song became a country standard. Over the years, artists including Elvis Presley, Willie Nelson, Glenn Campbell, Leo Sayer, Judy Collins, Donny Hathaway, Jimmy Buffett, and Alison Krauss covered the song. Elvis recorded it for his 1974 album, and it's absolutely devastating. The lyrics hit like a punch to the chest. Some gotta win, some gotta lose, good time Charlie's got the blues. It's a perfect distillation of the American economic anxiety that was building in the early 70s. Number 12. It Never Rains in Southern California, Albert Hammond. Moving on to number 12, we have a song that perfectly captured the dark side of the California dream. Albert Hammond's It Never Rains in Southern California reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1972. The song was co-written by Hammond and Mike Hazelwood, and the lyrics describe the ironic struggles of an aspiring musician in Los Angeles, juxtaposing the sunny California image with the harsh realities of showbiz failure. Hammond was an English-born singer-songwriter who had moved to California to chase the music industry dream, and the song was essentially autobiographical. The production featured lush orchestration and Hammond's distinctive vocals, creating a melancholy atmosphere that perfectly matched the subject matter. The irony is that Hammond himself became exactly what the song was about, a musician who had one massive hit and then struggled to replicate that success. His follow-up single, I'm a Train, was dismissed as totally forgotten, even though it charted at number 31 in 1974. The song remains a perfect time capsule of early 70s disillusionment with the American dream. Number 11. Sunshine, Jonathan Edwards. Next up is a song that literally has sunshine in the title and peaked during one of the darkest periods in American history. Jonathan Edwards' Sunshine hit number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1972, but most people today couldn't tell you who sang it. Sunshine has appeared in everything from Friends to Anchorman, which means you've definitely heard it, you just don't know who performed it. Edwards was a folk singer-songwriter from Washington State who captured the breezy mood that was common in early 70s music. The song's acoustic guitar picking and Edwards' warm vocals created an instantly recognizable sound that epitomized the singer-songwriter movement. But Edwards never managed another major hit, despite the song's massive popularity and cultural staying power. Number 10. Gone, Joey Heatherton. Here's where things get interesting. Joey Heatherton started her career as a child actress and performed on Bob Hope's USO tours throughout the 1960s. But in 1972, she released Gone, a cover of country singer Ferlin Husky's crossover hit from 1957. This wasn't country music at all. It was heavily orchestrated AM pop with a tinge of R&B, like Burt Bacharach meets Phil Spector. Heatherton released her only album, The Joey Heatherton Album, in 1972, but the follow-up single, I'm Sorry, only made it to number 87 on Hot 100. The behind-the-scenes drama gets wilder. In 1997, she posed for Playboy at age 53, and she's also topless on the cover of the 2004 Hippo expanded reissue of her album. Heatherton returned to her acting career for the rest of the 70s, but Gone remains a fascinating artifact of early 70s pop sophistication. Number 9. Dancing in the Moonlight, King Harvest. To put it simply, if you've ever been to a wedding, you've heard this song. Dancing in the Moonlight was recorded on King Harvest's album of the same name, written by Sherman Kelly, and became a hit in 1973, peaking at number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100. But here's what nobody talks about. King Harvest was formed in France. These American musicians were living as expats in Europe when they created one of the most enduring feel-good tracks of the 70s. The song captures the carefree spirit of the early 70s perfectly, with its infectious groove and optimistic lyrics. Despite its massive cultural impact and continued use in movies and television, King Harvest never had another major hit. Number 8. Also, Sprach Zarathustra, 2001, Deodato. Now here's where it gets absolutely wild. Classical compositions rarely make pop charts, but Deodato's funky reimagining of Also Sprach Zarathustra bridged the gap between symphony halls and dance floors. You know this song. It's the theme from 2001: A Space Odyssey. But Deodato, a Brazilian keyboardist and arranger, took Richard Strauss's classical composition and turned it into a jazz-funk masterpiece that hit the pop charts in 1973. The arrangement featured electric piano, synthesizers, and a full rhythm section, completely transforming the classical piece into something that belonged in discos and on FM radio. It was musical alchemy of the highest order. Number 7. Kiss and Angel Good Mornin', Charley Pride. Here's a song that tells a bigger story about American music. Charley Pride had already lent his warm baritone to numerous country hits by the time he released the crossover smash Kiss and Angel Good Mornin' in 1972, written by Ben Peters. Kiss and Angel Good Mornin' was the only Pride single to crack the top 40 of the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 21. The success earned him Entertainer of the Year and Top Male Vocalist by the Country Music Association in 1972. But here's the thing that makes this historically significant. Pride is the most successful African-American country singer of all time, with 29 country number ones and over 50 top 10 hits. In 1972, for a black artist to cross over from country to mainstream pop was revolutionary. Number 6. Jungle Fever, the Chakachas. Prepare for more peculiar twists, because this Belgian band created one of the most controversial hits of 1972. Jungle Fever featured a woman moaning and having an orgasm, which is likely why it was included in the 1997 film Boogie Nights. Jungle Fever was banned by the BBC in the UK due to the heavy breathing. This Latin soul combo was from Belgium, not exactly the funk hotbed you'd expect. The song was essentially a precursor to disco, featuring infectious rhythms and production techniques that wouldn't become mainstream for several more years. Despite the controversy, or maybe because of it, the song became a million seller. Number 5. I Don't Want to Be Right, Mouth and McNeil. If you think that previous example was strange, wait until you hear about this Dutch duo. Mouth and McNeil were like the Dutch version of Abbott, only with more hair, velvet, and ventriloquism. This stomp and sing-along made it to number Billboard. The duo went on to represent the Netherlands in the 1974 Eurovision contest. Only the 1970s could produce something like this, a theatrical pop duo from the Netherlands that somehow conquered American radio with a song that was part vaudeville, part pop perfection. Number 4. Apache, The Shadows, Hot Butter version. Here's where we circle back to our electronic pioneers. After Popcorn became a massive hit, Hot Butter released a synthesizer version of The Shadows' instrumental classic Apache that charted at number 51 in the UK. The original Apache was already a legendary surf rock instrumental, but Hot Butter's Moog synthesizer treatment transformed it into something completely different. Space-age surf music that sounded like the future colliding with the past. Number 3. Hold Your Head Up, Argent. Speaking of the future, here's a song that predicted arena rock before arena rock was a thing. Rod Argent, former keyboardist and songwriter for the Zombies, founded Argent in 1969. Their sole hit, Hold Your Head Up, was recorded at Abbey Road in 1971 and featured Russ Ballard on lead vocals. The song was conceived as the band was playing the Hamburg, Germany club circuit to little fanfare. They experimented with a Roomba beat, and Hold Your Head Up was the result. The album version runs over 6 minutes. The production was massive. Layers of keyboards, soaring vocals, and a rhythm section that could level buildings. It was prog rock with a pop sensibility, and it pointed the way toward the stadium anthems that would dominate the later 70s. Number 2. Brandy, You're a Fine Girl, Looking Glass. The next track didn't just break boundaries, it nearly broke the radio. Looking Glass's Brandy, You're a Fine Girl hit number 1 in 1972 and became one of the most beloved songs of the decade, but Looking Glass never had another major hit. The song tells the story of a barmaid in a port town who falls in love with a sailor who chooses the sea over her. The production featured intricate harmonies, a memorable guitar riff, and Elliot Lurie's distinctive vocals. The cultural impact was enormous. The song has been covered countless times, featured in movies and television shows, and remains a staple of classic rock radio. But Looking Glass couldn't capture that magic again. Number 1, The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia, Vicki Lawrence. And here's our number 1 forgotten gem that absolutely deserves a comeback. Vicki Lawrence, primarily known as a comedian on The Carol Burnett Show, surprised everyone with her vocal performance on this murder ballad written by Bobby Russell. Murder ballads rarely topped pop charts, but Lawrence's haunting delivery proved audiences craved darker storytelling. The song tells a gripping tale of betrayal and injustice that captivated listeners nationwide. The irony is beautiful. A studio executive once told Lawrence she should stick to comedy instead of music. Her chart-topping hit proved him spectacularly wrong. Reba McEntire later covered it in 1991, introducing the song to a new generation. The song was a complete departure from Lawrence's comedy career, showcasing a vocal range and dramatic intensity that nobody expected. It proved that artistic talent often defies easy categorization. Before we wrap up, if you love digging into these musical oddities and forgotten gems like I do, you're going to want to subscribe for more deep dives into music history. We've got stories about the recording sessions that changed everything, the industry politics that buried classics, and the artists who deserve so much more than their 15 minutes of fame. Looking back at these 15 forgotten masterpieces from 1972, what strikes me most is the sheer diversity and innovation. We had electronic music pioneers using cutting-edge Moog synthesizers, country rock rebels celebrating illegal street racing, folk singer-songwriters capturing economic anxiety, and comedians proving they could sing murder ballads with devastating emotional impact. These weren't just random blips on the charts, these were artists pushing boundaries, experimenting with new sounds, and creating music that influenced entire genres. The fact that most of them never had another major hit doesn't diminish their accomplishments. It actually makes their single moments of glory more precious. So here's my question for you. Which of these caught you off guard? Did Popcorn make you want to dive into early electronic music? Did Good Time Charlie's Got the Blues conjure up feelings you forgot you had? Did you discover your new favorite song among these forgotten gems? Drop a comment below about your favorite track from this list and let me know which forgotten one-hit wonder you think deserves a modern cover version. Trust me, we've got more stories, more songs, and more hidden musical history coming your way. And if this video brought back some feels or introduced you to something new, that subscribe button is looking mighty lonely down there. We're building a community of music lovers who believe that great songs deserve to be remembered, no matter how long ago they ruled the charts. Until next time, keep digging through those crates, keep discovering those hidden gems, and remember, sometimes the best music is the music that time forgot.